Yes, thank you very much, Amir. Good morning to you. How you doing, Frank Papa? Grand Rising to you. Any new updates? You probably know more than I do. I've been moving around, hitting the sawmills the last couple of days, talking with my suppliers. Yeah, but I can honestly say they're, to get into it, I'm going to say that uh, I like to focus in on answering as many questions as I can. I will get into a few things as they kind of pop into my head because I haven't had time to do any serious research. But stuff that I've picked up in the last couple of days. As you probably know, that there is a lot of sleeper cells that are in the United States, and they're starting to realize that a lot of them had come in through Canada, the northern border. Yeah. And before I get started, this is for entertainment purposes only. And I expect or I want everybody to go out there and do their own research. Okay. Yeah, there probably will be, I mean, to get into the guts of it, our commander hasn't, he signed a lot of things in through the executive orders, and he has the power to shut down the whole country if it becomes what he thinks is too dangerous. And the white people, I guess you want to say, Caucasians are being attacked right now. Christianity is being attacked right now, and this is all for everybody to see. France is about to crash. England's about to crash. And the reason why both France and England are about to crash is because they've been sucking on the African tit for over 60 years. Both of them. Both England. I mean, that's where England got all its power from. They were getting it out of, um, you know, uh, such places as wherever it was coming in from. I think it was, well, you pick a country inside of Africa. That's who they were feeding off of. How you doing, Joan? Thank you for being a monitor. Yesterday, the power went out for a few minutes. Yeah, so they're doing a lot of power testing right now. The Supreme Court's still operating under the corporation. I'm not sure. I maybe they're going to do the big announcement, Jack, on the the new natural law and everything. Maybe that's going to be happening, and big announcements going to be happening on the 4th, if that's the case. But I was under the illusion that yeah, there's no more incorporations. They might be, looking at it like it is, but I don't think it is. Good morning from Michigan. Welcome. My power, your power, my power, everybody's power. We all come together. Yes, this is what will defeat them. Is our loving light. Do you think it's dividend checks? Could be. I know there's going to be some money coming out. You know, we have a dual citizenship with Canada live. Yeah, well, we could have, but I think Canada has never been ratified. It's never been. All it's been is a corporation. We never made any deals out there. There was never anything signed. It may look like it has been signed, but it's never been signed. We are, we are North America, if you want to call it. We are part of North America, and so is Greenland. So live on TN. Do we have to go back to Canada to collect our RV money? If you were born in the country of origin, apparently, from what I understand, you have to go back to collect on your birth certificate. That's why, if it does happen while I go back down to the Philippines, I'll have to get on a plane and come all the way back again. Yeah. I have a Canadian birth certificate. I have a Canadian passport. That's what they call it. But, if you look at the Canadian and the American passport side by side, they look almost identical, other than the flag difference, but they look almost identical. Uh, they say the tariff war was a bad idea, and it actually hurt America. What do I think? Well, I think that it's a good thing, because I know how America, through the tariffs before 1913, how rich. I mean, there was the tariffs that was being collected on any imports coming into the States at that time. They were collecting on it, and the United States was so rich, and they had so much bountiful assets, that they were actually having to give it away. They they felt almost, the people that were, doing all this stuff, it was so successful, they were having to, that's where they started helping other countries at that time, until, the Rothschilds and the central bank started sniffing around. And, people had abundance of silver and gold in their pockets, fathers and farmers, and, all different walks of life throughout the United States at that time. They impicted and made believe that, times are tough and whatever, but this was the expansion of the United States at that time. But everybody had money. And until the central banks hit, everybody is basically rich, because they had, God's money in their pocket, or, on them, and they were able to do pretty decent trade. So, yeah. And even people up in Canada, but, everything that goes on, that, when the United States fell to the incorporations in 1913, so did all the other countries. They followed suit. This is why I say, if the United States falls again, then, the whole world will follow. So this is why they're attacking so heavily on the the domestic that has been infiltrated. That's why the Democrats had come in there and allowed more than 25 million illegals into the country from the north and the south. And they said more of them came in from the north. eBay has Vietnamese dong still and Iraqi dinar. That's great. Buy it. I can't get a, I don't do eBay, because I don't have a card thing happening. Yeah. Credit card. Yeah. So that's my take on that. I think silver's going to go, and there's people talking about gold going to 40 grand, and silver's going to go to $2,000-$3,000. And I'm still a very, very firm believer. It has to go that way, because the dollar doesn't buy anything anymore. It's very apparent that, you have to go out there and spend $5, $6, $7 on a loaf of bread now. And maybe you might be able to get it for $3, but it's just cheap dirt flour. They probably mix sawdust in with it. Who knows, right? That's the way I believe. I say, if you want any decent product, you got to go to a specialty shop to buy it, and look what you're paying for it. You're paying $40 for a small steak, for a ribeye. That tells me our dollar's not. It doesn't. And it says, like, if you got a silver dollar, it says $1 on it. Well, that silver dollar now is worth $89 to $90 Canadian. So I can buy 2 steaks for $1. So that kind of proves to me that, the metals have held their value, if not more. How you doing, Greg? Welcome. Yeah, bonjour from Quebecois. You going to the American State Fair? Trump knows how to put a great show on. Well, I can only watch it from my phone. Yeah, I'm doing business in Alberta. Yeah. How you doing, Santa from South Carolina? How you doing, Greg? Good morning to you. It's my way. For collecting Canadian birthrights money, but live in the United States for over 50 years, U.S. citizen. Yeah, can we come back and live in the United States? Yes, you can. Of course you can. We're all going to be one. That 49th parallel border is going to be gone. Ready to watch more mask malfunction? Yes. No. This movie's getting so old, and I know Trump's getting really fed up with it. How you doing in Alberta? How things going? Are you guys getting pretty soggy up there? I see a lot of flooding going on. Howdy from Oklahoma. How are you doing, Sheila? How you doing, Matt? Yeah, there's lots of stuff floating around. Right, you have to use your own discernment. Yep. Hi, Misha. Uh, Trump even said that it was going to be painful. Yeah, and hang on for the brace for impact. Yep, makes sense to me. I mean, the military's out and about everywhere. A lot of movement going around. They have brought a lot of military home, and there's it's going to be epic. Good morning to you. How you doing, Clive? You think we should send troops to Iran? No, don't. There's no need to. No, there's no need to. But like I says, to get into the meat of it, maybe Guy Pearson could listen to Michael Jaco's views on that. But I believe we don't have to. This would be a shock for many people. Yes, well, it sure is. It's going to be like 90% of the people that haven't woken up yet. It's going to be a big slap in the face and a kick in the ass. Yeah, pardon my French. Happy Wednesday. How you doing, Rose? Good morning to you. Hey, how you doing, Big Nation? Yeah, how you doing, boy? And Cheryl, good to see you. Yeah. How you doing, Linda? Well, money's out there right now. I mean, everybody should be prepared for the revaluation of all the currencies. Go out there. I mean, if you got extra Canadian money or any type of extra dollars, I would bring them down to a bare minimum, so you don't lose that much on it, and go buy some foreign currency. How you doing, Jerry Brown from Arkansas? I'm doing great. How are you doing? People seem to be happy wandering around in their matrix. I know, no kidding, eh? Thank you, Jane. Yeah, they're comfortable. They get a little bit of sunshine out there, a little bit of rain, whatever. They just deal with life itself, but totally oblivious to what's going on. Yeah, the population will need solid proofs to believe it. I know. That's why they're going to get a kick in the ass. Yep. How you doing, Cheryl? Thank you very much for keeping them in capital letters. What about if I was born in Egypt and live in most of my life in Canada? You'll have to probably go back to Egypt to collect. If that's what your birth certificate says, you're going to have to go back there. To however that's going to work out. You're very welcome to come back into Canada. I don't see there's going to be a problem as long as you came in through the proper channels, right? I mean, it's like any country out there. I mean, I can't just go down into the States and say, I'm claiming refugee status or whatever. They look at me like, get your ass back to across the line until this thing is over, right? And it's the same thing in the Philippines. I mean, the only way that foreigners can live in the Philippines if they marry either a Filipino or a Filipina. Then you still, there's a lot of people that have gone down there and forgot to come home, and now they're stuck there. They have no home. They're not Filipino. They're not American. They're not Canadian. They're just there. And if they hit the border, they'll be probably arrested, and then shipped or deported back to their homeland. And then once they get home, they might be put in jail. Yep, that's because they've ignored the rules. How you doing, Julia from South Carolina? Interstate 65, north and south, closed until the 7th and 31st. Yeah, that's in Louisville, Kentucky. Gut feeling, it's the 4th shutdown. Yeah, it could be. Yeah, they're going to be shutting down a lot of stuff, and there's going to be these cities are going to get shut down, and there's going to be a lot of people wandering around, wondering what the hell happened. Yeah, I mean, they've been warned for 10 years now, eh? They've been warned for 10 years, right? I mean, we all have, and it's only the ones that have woken up that will see what is coming and will understand what's going on. How you doing, Robert? Yeah, yeah. This site isn't for negative people. We're here to, embrace and give information back and forth to each other. Anybody that is in there, the monitors out there, just you know what to do, right? Love and light, and we want to keep this site full of positive vibes. You know, I know things are going to be absolutely wonderful on the other side, and we're all going to try to figure out and understand and try to understand, how to deal with all our money. And what I would do is what Charlie Ward says, maybe take, you can buy a little bit of things for yourself, but maybe just sit back and make a pause and have a chance to, um, absorb everything and methodically think it out, and keep your zipper up and don't say anything, and start testing friends and family. Start testing them to see how loyal they are to your friendship and your love. You know, there's a lot of things that are going to be played out. That I can see. I've had a lot of money at one time, and I've lost a lot of money because I didn't know how to handle it. That happened. First time was me that was involved, and the second time was the government. And so I've experienced both sides of it. Right? How you doing, Robert? Yeah. I was born in South Africa, but lived 25 years in Cyprus. Beautiful country. No bank account in South Africa. I get it, but you do have a birth certificate there, right? Okay. So, I mean, I don't know how they're going to deal with that. I totally get it, but they will be getting a hold of you. Nobody's going to be missed. And, quite frankly, I mean, if you want to wait and sit in Cyprus and wait for some kind of a notification, that's fine. But what I would do, I'd be going to your bank that's in Cyprus right now, and I would be buying a whole bunch of Vietnamese dong or some Indonesian rupiah or anything that's going to give you a revaluation of currency. That's outside of Nasera Jacera, but that will give you immediate cash flow once our commander, that has total control over the worldwide finances, he reevaluates everything 1 to 1 at the very minimum. And there will be special countries with special treatment. Yeah. When it comes to keep the bad guys from traveling, yes, exactly. It's going to be shut down. So it's going to even be even the internet's going to be shut down, so nobody can communicate. The military has special communications and GPS, and that paints targets on all the bad guys. They're just going to go in there, swoop in, and pick them up. They don't want people on the street interfering with their roundup. Okay. Yes, everybody's watching the water right now. That's extreme. It's all over the place. I mean, we're getting rain and rain and rain in the Philippines, flooding there, but especially a lot of flooding in Alberta right now. For some reason, BC is not. I mean, we're getting rain, but it's very, very hard to flood BC unless you're around the waterways. But it's really hard to flood BC because of all the mountainous living. Yeah. Yesterday, my bank still took my mortgage. Yeah. Well, of course they're going to take it. Yeah. What will happen with my money? The mortgage money is, if it's all your mortgage money that you pay into your house or for your house or whatever, if it's to do with interest, So if you're paying interest on that mortgage, like, and usually it's like 80% is interest, you're going to get all that back. Okay? You're going to get all your interest back. You're going to get all your taxes back. Everything's going to be summarized when you get your ledger and you get your QFS. They're going to have all that all laid out. They've done amazing data work and spreadsheets and everything else for you through your whole life. Since you were registered from your birth certificate as a dead element, and they took your money and your birth certificate money and started trading it on the stock market. Yeah. My son is a military brat, born in Germany but raised in the states of Georgia. He has a dual citizenship. A dual birth certificate? Well, I think there's going to be special treatment for the military. Whatever's going on there, obviously they've got that figured out. And if he's in Georgia right now, he'll probably just have to stay in Georgia, because ultimately, if he was military, born in Germany, but he's now stateside in Georgia, he will probably just need to stay in, because military's they've got their own system that they're working on. They have their own inside system, yeah. Thank you very much, Sheila. Appreciate it. Or I'm sorry, Shelley. Yeah. I can't see very clearly there because it's small printing. Yeah. Hey, Datu. And Helen of Light. Why I have to go back to my birth country, can you explain? Because the birth country that you were born in has your money, okay? They have calculated based on all the birth certificates, like when you were born, your birth certificate, and when it was registered. So before, if you were born there, 2 weeks after you were born, you were registered and you got a number on your birth certificate, which you can see right now. That's when they took the money, okay? That's when the central banks or people responsible took your money then. So you, not knowing, went through life. You grew up somewhat, and then you moved to another country. So you have to go back to the country of origin in order to collect off your birth certificate that was stolen from you. That country is, been signed through the Gessera Act, and they've received raw mineral asset to cover your birth certificate and all the money that's owed to you. That's why you got to go back there. It's got nothing to do with another country where you live now. That's why if they do it, all the people that have come over, like you have this migration invasion, and I don't care. You got good people coming from other countries doing good business. They're doing great business over in their new country and whatever, hardworking people. But everything is based off your birth certificate, where you were born, and